You gotta be kidding me!
Welcome back to another edition of Dante's Hearthstone Rise of Shadows card review. We are going with Shaman. Now I'm doing all the classes and the neutral cards, and I am telling you what I think about it, rating them with candles, doing constructed and doing arena. Let's start it off right now. We start low and we go high. 0 mana, mutate. Common card, transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 more. Is this card good? 0 mana. It's a free upgrade for a battle cry minion that otherwise sucks on the board. Might not be terrible, but the problem is it doesn't have more of a value. So they've obviously had evolve, and they've had damn it, I forgot what the other one was called, but it's the one that allows you to keep going because it has an echo effect. And those cards were awesome because it allowed for a value not just on one minion, multiple minions, or super high. This is just one mutation, one. Like if this was maybe cost 2 more or something and it was 1 mana, maybe. But like I see this being good, but the problem is you need more cards. Is this good enough to replace other cards that might otherwise do a better job at sustaining board or getting rid of your enemy? I don't know. That's where I'm having a problem with this. I just don't see how this fits in any archetype right now. Maybe it does, but you need cards. You just need cards, and I think it's just not good enough to do anything like that. So in construct, I'm giving it 1.5. In arena, battle cries are premium. I'm gonna give it 2.5 in arena. It might be better than that though, because it could be such a swing turn in arena. Like I think this could make you just straight up win the game with tempo, but then you still lose a card, and if they have a removal, then you're kind of down a card. So it's a tough card to gauge, but I think that's fair assessment there. Next up, we have 2 mana, Soul of the Murloc. Give your minions Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 Murloc. Well, normally I would say this is not great because you're just getting a 1/1. Doesn't really matter if it's a Murloc, but there's some synergies with Murlocs that's gross, and that's where this can get out of control. So initially it's terrible. You get this on 1 minion, not great. 2 minions, it's like fair. 3 minions, you're getting decent value. 4 and up, obviously it's crazy even without the Murloc, but since it's Murlocs and it's summoning, this is interesting. It's very interesting, and it's tough to gauge, but I think with the Murloc deck it's a 3, and I think without it it's a 2.5, but it might be more than a 3. It's tough to gauge because we got to see how the meta turns out. And I think in arena, it's, unless you have a very specific type of deck, I think it's 1.5. Not great. Because getting a 1/1 isn't that great, and if you have that many minions, you're probably gonna win anyway, so what's the point? We have an 8 mana 4/8 Lifesteal Rush Wind Fury. Lifesteal, 8 mana. Can this bring you back in a game if you're down? Get 2 hits, maybe kill 1, maybe kill 2, get 8 health. It could bring you back. I mean, the rush is huge. Wind Fury, huge. Lifesteal, huge. 4/8, I mean, there's a 4/8 dragon with a taunt that can sort of clear a board. Is this good enough? This might be. This might actually be included in a lot of decks just for as a slightly comeback mechanic or something. This might be good enough to make it. I can't rate it too high, but I'm gonna say a 3. And I think in arena it's a 4. I mean, yeah, you know, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It's crazy. I think it's a little bit better in arena than I even think it is, actually. And I think it is still pretty good. I mean, getting that health, destroying some things, and it has a decent amount of health. Now, if this was like Wind Fury and it was like a 4/5, it'd be like, nah, trash. Or even if it was like a 5/5, it'd be like, ah, that's pretty rough. But the 8 health is kind of a big deal. So I think that seems a bit fair there. Next up, oh man. Oh, the Reign of Murlocs, the Terror. 1 mana 2/1 battle cry, add a lackey to your hand, overload 1. So what are you gonna do on the next turn anyway? Well, a lackey is essentially like a 2 mana minion, but for 1 mana. So it's sort of, you have your turn 1 and your turn 2 sort of played out. Late game, you can get some value off this, and Overload is not great, obviously, but I think it works. I think it works in this one, and I think it's going to be played even without a Murloc deck. And I think that's kind of a big deal. So 3.5 stars for Constructed, and for Arena, this is pretty damn good, but I'm not going to give it 4.5, but I'm just going to give it 4. It's just the value and the fact that it's a 2/1, not a 1/2. Kind of a big deal, and lackeys are essentially 2 mana, so that really doesn't matter as far as overload there. All right, here we go. Another Murloc. 2 mana, 2/3. After you play a Murloc, add a random Murloc to your hand. This card is gross. It's gross. If you make a Murloc deck and you don't include this deck, delete the game. If you don't include this card, I mean, just delete it. Delete the game. Don't play it anymore. Because this is such an auto-include in any type of Murloc deck. And even in a deck that has a few Murlocs, this is good for late game. It's a gross card. It's crazy. The value you get off this, and you just constantly play Murlocs, and you just fill your own board. And because you keep getting them. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't end. This in Arena, if you can get the value off this in Arena, it's 5 automatically. If you can't get the value, it's just okay. But like, it's not that hard to get 2 Murlocs. So you only need 1 other Murloc to make this work. Now, obviously, 2 out of 30 cards is rough to get them together, but you get that, it's gross. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars because there are more Murlocs to choose from, and you're probably gonna get them, and this isn't as rare. So if you get this in Arena, it's 5, no doubt about it. But that's if, and I'm sure they're gonna do some tinkering to make sure you don't get this as much, because it is broken. It's gross. It's gross. So we're gonna just give it a 3.5. But in a Murloc deck, and even in a deck that has a few Murlocs just for value, this is a 5 candle card. Are you kidding me? This is broken. Look at this. There's so many fireworks happening right now because it's just 10 mana. You drop this card and you have another Murloc in your hand. You play a Murloc, you get a Murloc. You play a Murloc, you get a Murloc. You just fill the board essentially with 2 cards. You fill the board, and it's so cheap and it's so powerful, and you probably get other value from other Murloc cards that you were playing. It's gross. I don't know. This card is ridiculous. I think it's just, the value is just out of control. It is out of control, and it doesn't stop there with the Murlocs. It's crazy. Next up, we have Agatha's Scheme. Deal 1 damage to all minions. Upgrades each turn. I love these scheme cards. And this card, I'm just gonna straight up say it right now. 5 candles in Arena. No doubt about it. No question. Fireworks everywhere. This is awesome. This card is awesome in Arena. I mean, all right, let's just look at it this way. You draw this card, you really need to clear the board. You draw this card, you just draw it. You do 1 damage to everything. Not great. It's just not great. 1, because you just got it the first turn. Well, you waited a turn. Well, it's 2 damage now. It's almost okay. It's almost consecration. 3 damage. That's good. 3 damage is pretty good. 4 turns. That's Flame Strike for 5 mana. Okay, well, wait a second. 5 turns. That's essentially nothing. And Dragon, I forgot what that was. Dragon Fury? I forgot what the hell that Priest card was. 6 mana, I think. Does 5 damage. Or Ysera's Rage or whatever. 6 turns, 6 damage. Nothing does that. 7 damage. Yeah. If you draw this, like, this card is awesome. I think this card in Arena, crazy. It's because you can hold out for a second and then it just clears everything. You just don't play anything. It's silly. Honestly, it's a little silly. In Constructed, I do think it's a good card. Constructed though. I don't know how good it's gonna be. I mean, if you're a Murloc deck, you want to stay on the board, but maybe you keep this in your hand so that you have a chance to reload when you're starting to lose. So I mean, maybe it is an auto include in every deck. So I'm gonna give it a 4 in constructed, because you gotta see where the meta shifts and how it goes, but I think it probably is an include in just about every deck, because a little bit of removal can always help save you, and this one can be a removal that essentially just completely saves you because you had it in your hand for 8 turns and it kills everything. So I think that's a tremendous card. It's awesome. It's just an awesome card. Next up, we have 2 mana Witch's Brew. Restore 4 health, repeatable this turn. This is an interesting card, and I don't know why they took the echo away, or why it's not echo. I don't know what that's. I wonder if it's gonna have the echo look. I don't know why they didn't want that keyword. I think it's, well, you know what? I'm gonna give it 2.5. I don't know how well this works in arena, because you need a certain type of deck and certain type of value oriented deck for this. So that's a little bit rough in arena to decipher. But I do think in some Shaman decks it's very good. So they used to have a spell where the 0 mana Paladin spell, you heal something, and this can heal multiple things, so you don't have to just heal your face. You can heal multiple minions and your face or something. So with the Paladin, it was 0 mana, you use all the rest of your mana and it heals twice as much of whatever mana you used. So people were using that on turn 10 and healing for themselves for 20, and this can do that, but this also can do that to other minions and whatever you want. So I think this card's actually pretty good and pretty flexible. So, I need to heal for 12 and I can drop a 4 drop card. Like, I don't know. I think it's pretty flexible and pretty damn good. And I think it will be used in some decks. Definitely some control decks. It has to, right? Just makes sense to me. 5 mana, 4/4 Muck Morpher. Battlecry, transform into a 4/4 copy of a different minion in your deck. So this is one of those combo type of cards. I love the way this card looks. It's like an real monster homage or something. It looks pretty hilarious. A weird, strange muck pipe lurker. It looks kind of like the Joker in that form. Either way, 4/4 copy of, so this is a 5. Let's say you have no minions in your deck, or you have a Eureka type of OTK type of Malagos deck. Oh, this is good. So either your backup is Eureka, or this is your card that you use and you play this, and guess what? You got a 5 mana Malagos and you just go face and you just explode, right? I think it's pretty good. This is a combo card. I think it will work for combo decks. I don't know what else this necessarily works for. Certainly not a Murloc deck. That'd be kind of weird, right? So that I love. I think for combo decks, this is gonna be interesting. Now, obviously, there's combo breakers now, but I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I think it's gonna be in some decks, and it's gonna be interesting. And I think it will work and definitely actually help that archetype, which is interesting. In arena, yeah, half a candle. Absolutely awful in arena. 5 mana for 4/4, unless whatever you get is an awesome death rattle, but that's just luck based. So yeah, you can't count on that. It's awful in arena. Get it out of my face. Next up, oh no, your overlord has cometh. 4 mana, 4/4 Murloc, Scargill. Your Murlocs are 1 cost. The combos are gross here. It's disgusting. You just throw your hand down and then you walk away, and then your opponent concedes because they just can't deal with it. I mean, that might not be true because there are removal options, but damn, Scargill, this is like a dream for Murloc lovers out there, and looks pretty damn menacing too. Doesn't even look like, a lot of Murlocs can be cute. This guy doesn't even have like pupils or whatever. Ugh. But the stuff you can do with this is crazy. So many combos with this and rush things, and this is going to be a problem. Maybe. We'll see how much defense is a thing. I mean, there's a lot more taunts and a lot more healing things that are happening. So I'm curious to see how this does. In the Murloc deck, this is auto include, obviously. I think in the Murloc deck, I want to say this is great. And I think in the Murloc deck, only if you can get the value. That's the problem. So you drop all your Murlocs and then they kill everything. Then what? How do you refresh? I think that's the problem with Scargill. So I'm actually going to give Scargill a 3.5 because what happens when you drop your hand? Well, if that gets removed, then it's not like this does anything else. It's just dead. I think this only works in sort of simple combos of you know, refreshing your hand with that other card that I gave 5. Yeah, and 4 mana 4/4 is actually pretty decent stats considering what it does. So it's not good in arena, but a 4 mana 4/4 is not like terrible in arena. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 in arena. Like, why would you choose this over the other legendaries you're able to get? That's my question. It would be rare, I think. I don't know. I mean, this has some synergies, and obviously you're gonna have more Murlocs to choose from. So it's interesting, but I don't know about that one. Yeah, that definitely seems a little strange. And last but not least, we have Swamp Queen Hagatha. Now you have Hagatha, the hero card, which is still in play, which is good. Battlecry, add a 5/5 horror to your hand, teach it 2 shaman spells. As far as I heard, it was you teach it 1 spell and you teach it another spell that it targets automatically. So you can use 1 spell you can target and then the other one you can't, or something. It's something weird like that. I forgot exactly. I haven't seen this card being played, but is that good enough? And I think for a value oriented game, let's say, I think this is even good in like the Murloc deck because you can just keep playing stuff. So if you run out of Murlocs and you play this, it's just value. So you top deck this, and what's bad about it necessarily? I think the only thing that's bad is the fact that you can't play this and then play your horror already. You know, that's my only issue with it, but it's still value. And then if you already have Hagatha up, then there's more value on value on value. It's interesting. It's interesting. I think this card in arena is a 4. In constructed, I think it's a 3 in constructed, and I think it's a 4 candle in arena. I think arena value is a little bit more premium. I think this can work in arena, especially because you get the 2 spells essentially for free-ish. So I do like that. Constructed is interesting. I think it will be in constructed, but I don't think it's going to be a card that you necessarily need or even really want too hard. So yeah, I don't know. Well, there you go for the Murloc Shaman Overlords. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will be doing all of the classes. Make sure you check that out on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think, and I will be back.